The lake you are looking at is a popular and a crowded destination in the summer months. When there is snow on the ground, it's an amazing winter paradise that you have all to yourself. In this video, we will drive into two partially frozen lakes. As we do, I'm going to do my best to convince you that winter is not a time to do less overlanding while you're waiting for the warm weather to come. Instead, it's one of the best overlanding seasons. During the video, I will give tips on winter overlanding, how to find frozen lakes, what type of campsites you can expect, how to navigate through the snow to get to campsites, and what to prepare for on a trip like this. My brother Steve is on the trip. It's always nice to have somebody knowledgeable and skilled in overlanding, so Sam came as well. I'm going to pay for that one.
Can you hold it for a second while I punch my brother in the face?
All right, let's talk about campsites for a minute. Here's the lake again. And tip number one is that winter overlanding has the best campsites. Here's our campsite. In the summer, you'd have no chance of getting a campsite right on the lake like this. Here's a bird's eye view of the same campsite. We had a ton of fun at this campsite, starting with the manly art of splitting firewood as demonstrated by Steve. And if you've ever seen any of our videos, you know that no matter what one brother is doing, the other brother either has an abundance of advice or suggests that perhaps the other brother should try something a little harder. And that's exactly what resulted in Steve taking the splitting maul to this much larger log. And I think he would have done it by himself, but as a good brother, I wanted to help.
Wait, Steve. Wait, Steve. Let me do it. I'll help you. You almost did it. Nice!
That was actually some pretty impressive work with that splitting maul. And then Sam got to work making one of his famous fire pits.
Is that good?
That's well placed. There we go. That'll fit a fire that you guys are accustomed to.
Sam's a machine and works out no matter where we are. He has to stay fit because he does some pretty deep backcountry backpacking trips. And his dog Charlie likes to work out as well. Anyways, this was a great campsite. We got a great fire going, had some fun stories.
Lower, 2 feet lower.
And talking about winter providing some of the best campsites, at night during a winter overlanding trip, it's even more beautiful sometimes, especially when you have reflections in the lake. And if you have one of those clear nights with stars, it's just amazing. Now this is a drone shot that I took the next morning going low across the water and transitioning onto the ice on the frozen part of the lake. But you know, as overlanders, we're always looking for that epic experience that is a combination of a remote setting and natural beauty. And I think that overlanding in the snow really can qualify under that epic category. All right, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about what it's like driving through the snow to get to these frozen lakes and what you need to do to prepare for that. Probably the most important thing is just picking the right snow conditions, and that means picking the right time of year, which is typically going to be early season or late season. So this video was filmed March 27th, and I mention that because we had attempted to get into these lakes a few weeks earlier and we were unsuccessful because there was just too much snow. But now at the end of March, you can see that the road has become a patchwork of snow-covered sections separated by dirt patches. And that actually helped quite a bit because we could leapfrog from dirt patch to dirt patch and get more traction as we passed over the dirt patches. Another thing to be aware of is that the trail can become like a slot car track. If you look closely, you can see the deep snow channels. These tracks are from us and other people driving on these roads. The problem becomes that with repeated melt and freeze cycles, these slots become almost solid and they will toss your vehicle back and forth, and there's almost nothing you can do to avoid it. In fact, there's one section that we actually had to dig out using shovels because the ice slots were so bad. We'll show you that in a minute. First, take a look at this example of just how difficult some of these ice slots can be. I'm going to drop in right behind you, Sam, when you go. Sam was actually able to just reverse and then drive out of that. But the best way to navigate these ice slots is to get just the right momentum and power on through. Anyways, these ice slots were kind of a blessing and a curse. They did give you a compact track to drive on, but you'd almost rather just break trail and avoid getting tossed back and forth. And that's exactly what happens to us. We do come to the end of the ice tracks, and from that point forward, we start breaking trail. What do you think?
It's hard to say because it's like there's a wall from where we got to last time. That's what my tires hit.
Yeah.
It's like I hit that wall and it just stopped.
So here the slots got so deep that the undercarriage was actually dragging, sort of a high center situation, and made it difficult to go forward. So we actually had to dig out and backfill just a short section of the slots. And from this point forward, there are no slots. We're going to have to break trail. So if you're thinking this is more that you want to tackle for winter overlanding, recall that at the beginning, one of our first tips was to go early enough or late enough in the season such that the snow conditions were within your comfort zone. So one of the things I like best about winter overlanding is the ability to do that. If you're not into hardcore snow wheeling, maybe your rig isn't set up for that, but your rig is otherwise a capable overlanding vehicle, a lot of this stuff is really doable. For example, we'll get through this using two different techniques, which we'll discuss in a minute. But the other option is to simply go a little later in the season. As I said, this was filmed March 27th. If you went early in April, a lot of this snow would be gone.
You usually send the best driver with the best vehicle first to break trail.
All right, I'll go.
I like to
I
go,
wasn't planning on it, but I will.
Okay, I'll sacrifice.
I like to be in the middle of you guys so that I can have, there's always someone who can pull me from one direction or the other.
I actually feel
Yeah.
pretty confident. This is so firm on top.
It is, it's better further up than it is here.
Yeah.
The key from this point forward is that the minute you lose forward momentum, take your foot off the pedal. Whatever you do, don't just sit there spinning your tires and dig yourself in. In what only can be described as an exchange between brilliant minds, we call this the if you stop, stop strategy.
All right, Steve. We will, I guess the strategy is don't dig any holes. If you come to a stop, just stop.
If I come to a stop, stop.
Yeah, if you come to a stop, stop.
Okay, don't keep going if I've stopped.
If you stopped, stop.
Stop, stop.
Yeah.
Stop, stop.
So it's a stop, stop.
It's like a brain trust here.
I'm so confident about this. I'm feeling bad letting Steve go first because I know I could do it.
Yeah.
I'll try to do you proud.
All right, this is the mark of the shovel. This is where we've got to so far. All right, mark of the shovel. You have to pass this.
He's going for the slow and controlled approach.
If I stop, stop.
If you stop, stop.
If you stop, stop. He did pass the line to beat.
It's seriously like a Who's on First parody. But anyways, from this point on, Steve did a series of runs where he'd go forward and then he'd back up and go forward again. And he actually made pretty good time that way and compacted the snow pretty well. Sam followed, and Sam's strategy was to go just absolutely slow so he never lost traction. And he just went all the way without stopping. We did have one and only one extraction with a kinetic rope, and as you can see, this is the GearAmerica kinetic rope and soft shackles, and want to announce that the channel Winston and Kim are the winners of the GearAmerica drawing. You can see their information in our description in the comments, and give them a shout out and check out their channel. And your tip number 6 would be to bring your recovery gear.
Scouting it out. See how much further. See if it's actually feasible to push through all this snowpack. That's the no tire spin strategy.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Charlie? Good? That's a good girl. I got a long walk back now.
Yeah, you do.
That's what my brother always does. He's way up there. My vehicle, I'm not even sure if you can see my vehicle. I gotta walk back, pick up 2 shovels. The things I do for my brother. That was a very nicely executed strategy. Who came up with that?
It was me.
I'm pretty sure it was me.
Yeah, definitely me.
So with that, I just dropped in their tracks and busted a move, and we were at the lake.
Wait.
Doofus.
This was the first of the 2 lakes that we drove into, and there was a very short hike into this one. It was not designed for corgis, but she did make it. This lake was almost completely frozen except for this small patch of water that you see here. Here's some drone shots of this lake, and as we're looking at them, you know, we've really had a ton of fun doing snow trips this year. And there's little high mountain lakes like this just sprinkled all over the Cascades. A good way to find these lakes is just take a summer trip to a lake that you like, make sure that the road's open in the winter, and give it a shot during the early season.
So Sam has challenged me to a log rolling contest, which I promptly accepted. Here I thought I had a good strategy, but we'll utilize the tall boots.
Mine are waterproof-ish. They're wet now, I think. Ooh, that's funny.
I wouldn't push you in.
Well, no one got pushed in and got wet, and after that we headed to the lake that you saw at the beginning of the video. And to me, that lake really was the crown jewel of the trip, and it's one that we plan on returning to. Well, I hope this video has inspired somebody in some small way to do some winter overlanding. If it's something that you already do, tell us about it in the comments. We love hearing from people. On our end, we've got a new puppy. Her name's Sydney, and we plan to introduce her in one of our next videos. She will be an overlanding champion. It's all good fun, guys. Thanks for watching.